comes this time each year.
Well, hey there, and welcome back to Richard's Toy Room. As promised, I have a surprise video for the season, and what we're going to do today is we're going to show you records that you should have in your Christmas record collection. Some that are a little off the beaten path of what you might consider like traditional Christmas records, you know, like the ones that have like Perry Como and Julie Andrews and whatnot, singing all the classic Christmas songs that have been popular for the past 60, 70 years. So I picked, I think I have 9 here for my collection, and I'd have to recommend these to those of you that may be looking for something a little different for your Christmas enjoyment. I'm going to present them to you in chronological order. So this first one is from 1965. It is something you probably wouldn't consider for yourself. It is Al Hirt, and it's some magnificent trumpet renditions. I guess you could call them maybe reimagined classics, and you know, they're instrumental. Here's the reverse. He died in 1999, but something you probably wouldn't think to pick up for yourself because it's all trumpet. Well, not all, but mostly trumpet. There are some accompaniments on some of the songs. But anyway, that's a good one. Next up is from 1968. This here is, as far as I know, the only pressing of this. These guys, I guess, the best way to describe them is Weird Al Yankovic before Weird Al. They just use puns galore. They would do their versions of popular songs of the day, just like Weird Al did in his heyday. Unfortunately, Jethro, or Homer, died in 1971. He had a heart attack. He was about 50, and that was the end of the duo for the most part. Jethro tried to get another partner, but unfortunately it didn't work out, and he died in 1989, although he did continue to work. Here's the reverse. I'm not sure which one is Homer, which one's Jethro. I'm not that overly familiar with the artist that I could tell you from the picture, but either way, it's a little, again, to reiterate my statement from the beginning, off the beaten path as far as Christmas music goes. So up next, we have this 1969 release. Again, as far as I know, the only pressing of this. This is stereo. Now, it says that it is Steve and Edie Gourmet, and I'm not even sure how to pronounce her name, Leontine or Leontine, or however you pronounce her name. She's like an opera singer, along with Arthur Fiedler. This basically should really be called an Arthur Fiedler album featuring the other three, because it's mostly Arthur Fiedler doing probably at least half the songs on here by himself, you know, conducting an orchestra and maybe a chorus, and then smattered in are the you know, Leontine Price and Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet throughout it. Arthur Fiedler, probably best known as the conductor of the Boston Pops. He died in 1979, and Edie Gourmet died in 2013. But Steve Lawrence is actually still alive. He's 82, and Leontine Price is 90, and she is still alive as well. And here's the reverse. Not much you see it. Oh, one other thing about this album. This is it is a gatefold cover, but it's one of those, they didn't use these too much. It's called a unipack. It's the way the record slides in this way. They have to open the gatefold again instead of usually sliding out the end. I never really cared for them, but I guess it protects them pretty good. They're kind of irritating to me. But anyway, another one that I'd recommend you get for your Christmas collection. Next up, 1970. So this would be, since it would be for the Christmas 1970 season, I would assume. Probably during the second season of the Brady Bunch, since they, I believe, started in 1969. So 69, 70 would have been their first season, so 70 Christmas to 71 would have been their second season. Anyway, the only reason I recommend this is because it's so dreadful. It kind of makes you wish that auto-tune was invented back then. They're not bad when they're all singing together as a group, but when they have their own lead vocal selections, it's just cringeworthy. And not only that, but they don't even call the actors by their real names. They refer to them on the album as their Brady Bunch names. You know, here's the lead vocals by Marsha, here's lead vocals by Cindy, whatever. But it's just, you just have to have it because it's so bad. Alrighty. Next up is Luciano Pavarotti. This album was recorded in 1976. He's a very emotional performer. He's a tenor. Unfortunately, we lost him. He died in 2007. This is on London Records. I'm not sure if it... yeah, but London always did nice kind of classical music pressings with their albums. As far as the reverse of the jacket, here you go. But this one's, you know, something you probably wouldn't normally think to pick up for Christmas. You know, like I said, you know, Christmas, you're thinking, you know, chestnuts roasting on an open fire and junk like that. I mean, this is very religious music, you know, like Ave Maria, O Holy Night, and a lot of stuff I can't pronounce. But anyway, very entertaining, very enjoyable. And next up, 1979, John Denver and the Muppets. As you're probably aware, John Denver is passed. He died in a plane crash in 1997. Be honest, the only notable song on the album is the 12 Days of Christmas by the Muppets, and that's just a classic. This is a gatefold cover. But, I mean, it's just one of them ones you just have to have. It's if you love the Muppets, you'll love this album. Next up, now this is I guess a somewhat irreverent set of songs on here, and but they're hilarious, you know. There's probably like one stinker on this album, and I think it was a self-serving edition because it's a duet with Dr. Demento, who is, where is he on here? Down here, dressed up as Santa Claus. You may have heard of Dr. Demento. He's like a host of a radio show of weird songs and things like that. This is Christmas ones. Now this is put out by Rhino Records. Pretty nice packaging, actually. Nice plastic inner sleeve. And here's got a story on there that you probably can't read even if you zoomed in, but it's just, you know, stories about all the different songs. And I mean, this has on it, like, I mean, just what you would expect. All They Want for Christmas by Spike Jones, you know, My Two Front Teeth. It's got I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. And they're all the classic original artists. You know, these aren't like, you know, nobody is singing these, or, you know, knockoffs. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. There's also got one by the Three Stooges on here. It also has, the last song on side 2 is Santa Claus and His Old Lady by Cheech and Chong, which I actually can't stand that song, but it does actually belong on this album. But again, another album I'd recommend for your Christmas collection. 2 left. This one's pressed in 1981. They call it Volume 2. I don't know what Volume 1 is. I'm assuming it's kind of the same kind of stuff. Supposedly these are like old European, old English, whatever kind of songs from like 400 years ago for the Christmas season. And to me they sound like, you know, if you watch old movies where they you got drunks in taverns in the Middle Ages singing songs, they kind of remind me of that kind of stuff. That's the best I can describe it. But it's actually entertaining. It's mostly because it's different. But again, if you see it, it's just something kind of neat and different to have for your holiday collection. And one more. This is from 1984. These are instrumental, and they're carols. Ones that you'd obviously recognize, you know, Joy to the World, Silent Night, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, Good King Wenceslas, Angels We Have Heard on High, Come All Ye Faithful, First Noel, blah, blah, blah. Again, songs you would recognize, but they're all done on what's called the hammered dulcimer. And if you don't know what that is, it's a stringed instrument. It has, but it's similar to a harp, but it's played with small wooden mallets or hammers, which is why it's called the hammered dulcimer. And it's kind of trapezoidal in shape, and it's got 83 strings on it. But it's really beautiful sounding. It's hard to describe without, you know, you actually listening to it. But it's just, you know, like I said, I can't reiterate enough. It's just different. It's you know, it's not your everyday Christmas music that you hear on the radio. So that's something nice to add to your collection. So basically that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously there will be plenty more videos to come. This is just my special edition of Richard's Record Roundup for Christmas. So I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and be safe, and you know, look for new videos and subscribe if you haven't. Recommend to a friend. Oh, feel free to comment below if you want. I do read all the comments. Thank you for your support, and see you soon.